All right, everybody, welcome to the debut edition of the GEEKDOM101 Super Magic Show. This is going to be a new show on the channel that's going to be dropping every Sunday and Monday with a different special guest every week. I've got so much stuff to tell you about today, and I'm going to tell you about the show. We're going to be talking about Sparking Zero. We're going to be talking about Daima. We're going to be talking about the unfortunate passing of Doc Harris. And we're going to be talking about, some other stuff too. The main event topic this week is going to be about the music of Dragon Ball. So also, the cool thing about this show, and I'm going to bring Black and Fist on in just a moment. So the thing about this show is going to be very interactive. Are you saying I'm coming in low? Am I coming in low, y'all? Am I coming in low? Am I coming in low? Let me know if I'm coming in low. Am I too low, or should I be louder? Hold on, let me turn myself up. Okay, is that better? Is that better? Let me know if that's better. Just let me know in the chat if I sound better now. Yes, beautiful friends will be joining me just a minute. I'm good. I sound okay. I'm not too loud, right? You sure? Okay. Make sure you share this out because we're going to be talking about Daima, Sparking Zero, all that good shit. There will not be a Mongolian tomorrow. Obviously, there's things going on in Florida where I live. We have a Category 5 hurricane headed directly for us, and I am going to be staying at a friend's house for the next few weeks. Or for the next few days, I'm sorry. So I want to let you know now that if we don't lose power, I should still be covering Daima on Friday. However, I may be covering it on a delay. I'll give you more details as the weeks go by. The hurricane's going to be coming in Wednesday evening, so we probably will. We might be losing power Wednesday, Thursday. Hopefully not, but again, I can't predict the future, so we'll see. Let me go ahead and bring Black and Fist on now. He's my guest. We're gonna be discussing all things Dragon Ball today. I think you're gonna have a good time with this show. Also, we're going to not only take your super chats, but we're also going to allow some of you guys to join us. We're gonna do call-in specials too. Today will not be a call-in special, but if you want to come on to talk to us, we will be giving you that option in the future. So stay tuned for that. Daima comes out Friday, so we're going to go over all that. Let me bring Black and Fist on right now. Juan, you're live. What's up, man?
Hey, man. I am glad to be here, man. I'm always glad to be here, just discussing Dragon Ball.
Our favorite thing, bro.
In the world.
We always joke around like people don't understand our humor, but whenever we talk to anime fans, and they're always like, oh, Yu Yu Hakusho or oh, Attack on Titan. These are all great shows. These are all great shows.
I like them both.
So, I like them. And then what's the one? Vinland Saga. That's the one that you were yelling at Jamie about in my living room at 4 a.m. Right. That's the one. But none of them are Dragon Ball. I'm not saying that
Dragon Ball and everything else, man.
There's Dragon Ball and everything else. Now, that does not mean that I'm disrespecting other shows. It's just Dragon Ball has so much to love about it, right? And as Dragon Ball fans, we're eating good this week because this week we got Sparking Zero and we got Daima. So much to talk about. But first, I do want to get to a couple of these super chats. We'll be taking your questions if you want. First of all, thank you, Super Alvin Jackson, for the super sticker, and Gaming Hub UK. Thank you. Rodriguez Boldy says, stay safe, bro. I'm in Tampa. And True Draco says, hype. So thank you for that. So like I mentioned earlier, we do have a big storm coming in. As a result of that, I'm only going to be able to play Sparking Zero for a little bit tonight and tomorrow morning because I got to go. I'm getting out of here. My house should be safe, but just letting everybody know, coverage of Daima might be a little bit late on Friday. I will do my best to get it to you, but this is a Category 5 storm that should be a Category 3 when it hits. I cannot predict the weather, bro, so we'll see. I want to talk to beautiful friends, though, about the passing of Doc Harris. And we just found out he passed away on Saturday. I talked about it in the community tab. Doc Harris was the original narrator for the Ocean dub of Dragon Ball Z. He had that deep, booming voice. He's the guy who was like, stand by for Dragon Ball Z. And he was the guy who did, will Goku survive? next time on Dragon Ball Z. So all the narrators that came after him had to kind of mimic him. So
yeah, because
what are your tell us about your memories of Doc Harris.
Well, I mean, obviously, I grew up watching Dragon Ball on television, and back then, there was a different cast for the early episodes, which was like the Saiyan and Namek stuff, and then later on they got a different cast. But if as a kid, you never really even noticed some of the details. I was definitely, maybe some kids would. I never really noticed it until much later. But of course, I remember the standby, the Will Goku, all his narration,
and he had like the echo. They would put the echo effect, so it was like Goku, like really powerful voice.
Right. And a lot of people, they always remember the narrator from Dragon Ball Z, right? And usually, because most of the episodes that were around back then, they weren't Doc, because Doc was only around for that in-house, for that outsourced Ocean dub.
And he did the Ocean dub when Canada took over with the Cell Saga and shit.
So like Dale Kelly, who was the first in-house Funimation narrator, he was mimicking Doc Harris, because the way the in-house Funimation dub.
By the way, Juan, Jay's in the chat right now. I didn't want to interrupt you, but Jay's in there right now, bro. Remember cool. Jay?
Hey man, hey Jay. But a lot of the in-house Funimation dub, what their job was in the beginning was, and all of these guys, Chris Sabat, Sean, they were trying to imitate the Ocean cast, and Dale Kelly, he was trying to imitate Doc Harris. He was trying to imitate that voice, and Dale Kelly is usually the guy who a lot of people remember from their childhood, but Doc Harris is also, he cannot be forgotten. He was like you said, he was the first one. He was kind of like the blueprint of that voice of the Dragon Ball Z narrator.
He was a legend, and he was 76 years old, so he did live a long life. But anytime somebody from Dragon Ball passes away, whether it be Latin America, whether it be Japan, it's always a sad. It always bums me out, man. Even if I didn't like their voice, like I've always, and I did love this guy's voice, but I've always said that I have respect for the work they put in, because everybody contributes, even a little bit. So there you go. Slick and Mean says, Jay, do you still order those pizzas that night? That's for Super Jay. And yeah, in case y'all didn't know, there was a time when me and Jay and Juan was there. Juan was there a couple times, right? Where I don't know if you remember this, like 9 years ago, we would talk to this guy on Skype at like 3 a.m. for us, but for him, it was daytime.
Yeah.
And he would always order a Domino's pizza. There was a time where he would order that shit every day for like 2 weeks.
I remember that.
Yeah. He gained weight, but then he lost it again.
Oh, I didn't know that. I haven't.
Yeah, he gained some weight, but then he lost it again. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
He's got a new girl now, bro. So he's doing some horizontal calisthenics, bro, every day. You know how he is, bro. He's a fiend. Jay's a fiend for it, bro. Remember, Jay was the guy who had one of my favorite lines in history. When he talked about, he used to have a crush on Ellie Goulding. He used to say, "I'll give her 10 kids, man." No, really, 10 kids. And that's one of my favorite lines he ever said, bro. I love that motherfucker. All right, so rest in peace, Dale Kelly.
I love the song you made about him.
I made many songs about him, bro. I made many, many songs about him, bro.
Yeah.
All right, stop spamming the same thing, bro. Please do us a favor. So the next topic I want to get to is Sparking Zero. So Sparking Zero is coming out today for a lot of people. I should be downloading after we get done today. I haven't talked to you about Sparking Zero, bro. Mm-hmm. How fucking crazy is it that for years, we thought there would never be a Tenkaichi 4. People wanted a Tenkaichi 3 HD remake. And I remember some of the YouTubers actually tried to reach out to Bandai about doing that, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. But now we're getting this crazy game with this insane character roster. We've got GT, we've got Daima and Superhero coming up in DLC. It's almost like a dream come true, bro. What do you think?
It has surpassed my expectations, because when this game was announced, I have a very pessimistic streak in me, right? So yeah, I was excited, but
Yes,
then
you
I
do.
always think about stuff like, you know, there is no way that this game is going to, have the amount of characters that I think it should have. Because remember, Raging Blast, I mean, people argue about whether or not it was a part of the series or not, but I mean, I say it basically was. But when it made that jump from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3, a lot of characters were cut. And that's because a lot of people don't remember, but you got to or realize that Tenkaichi 3 was the culmination of that entire series up to that point. Like, it didn't just start out with that cast, it started out with a much smaller cast then got built up over the course of multiple games.
Right.
So when this
and actually, I covered that in my video that went up yesterday. If you haven't seen it yet, the history of Dragon Ball Z games on PS2, check the video out. It is you have to see it. It's 45 minutes with so much information that if you have nostalgia for the PS2 era, which a lot of people do, you'll like it. Continue, bro. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to plug
just
that.
To finish off, it's just that when when the game first got announced, I'm thinking, they have to do this. I mean, they have to do everything by scratch. They don't have anything off to work off like they did with Tenkaichi 3 because they already had 2 games before. So when I was thinking we will be lucky to have like 100 or maybe 120, right? Like there's just
like
no way, and there's so many more characters to work with now. So when the full cast was recently released, and I was thinking like the movies are going to be DLC.
Me too. GT.
Yeah, GT is going to be DLC. I was just thinking the base roster, they're going to do what they can, but there's just because there's a lot more that goes into games nowadays than there was back then.
They're harder to program.
There's just so many things working against it. But the fact that, Spike Chunsoft and Bandai Namco, they really put their effort into this game and they really took their time with it. And that impressed me. That honestly did impress me because I was expecting a much smaller cast because, like I said, they're starting off from scratch. And I was expecting things like GT and the movies to be DLC, but they're not. And the game itself is looking like it's going to be pretty good. Like
it looks like it's going to simulate those epic battles, right?
Oh yeah. This is probably the most excited I've ever been for a Dragon Ball game since probably Xenoverse when the first one came out.
For me, I love fighters because I love 2D fighting games.
Yeah,
but this one, like they're packing so much into this thing, like the what if storylines. I'm not going to go into spoilers here because I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but there's a couple of what if storylines, bro, that are literally like videos that Quinn made like 7 years ago that are now being playable. You know what I mean? Like,
speaking,
I can tell you later if you want.
Okay, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but back in the early days of YouTube and even like just early internet, when Tenkaichi 3 was the new hotness, do you remember, I don't know if you saw these videos, but do you remember everyone doing like their own what if scenario videos using the games?
I do, but that was before my time. I remember it, but I didn't watch too many of them.
Like, this is real old school. I don't know if anybody of you will remember this, but this was like a genre of videos where people would do people still do their what if scenarios in different ways, but one of the ways back then they would do it is like use the games, and they would use Tenkaichi 3 to like, and the reason why I say that is I wonder if that inspired the like custom battle mode that they have in this game because
it feels like they did their homework to see what people wanted.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the thing is whether or not they were inspired by that genre video from like literally more than a decade ago, because we're talking like 2008 and 9 on YouTube,
early YouTube, before you can make money on it.
Yeah, well, when I saw that custom battle mode, it's like, oh wow, it's like those old videos, but it's like built into the actual game this time.
No, it's crazy because like the way it's going to work apparently is you have like a what if branch, like for like the Frieza saga, let's say, but then you have to go right back into the Cell saga, but it changes what happens in the Cell saga. So this is one of those games that even besides the online battles, I think people are going to play it single player multiple times. I think I am too, because I want to know all the branching pathways. I cannot believe. Make sure you leave a like if you're stopping by. Thank you. And please spread the stream out. I want this show to become the go-to show every weekend for Dragon Ball. But dude, there are so many little features in the game, and that's not even including what the modding community is going to do, because Ultra Ego, and here's the other thing. I'm not going to,
they've already modded Tenkaichi 3 to death. I mean, there's like 1,000 mods for that game, and that game is on a PlayStation 2, which is not a game, usually mods come out for PC games, right? But there is such a dedicated community to mod, Tenkaichi 3. There's no doubt that's going to carry over to Sparking Zero.
This guy said, why aren't you playing Sparking Zero right now? Because I'm doing a show. What kind of question is that? Because I'm entertaining you, bro. We're going to have a good time. No, but the game looks like, and here's the other thing too, or I don't want to go into I'm not going to go into spoilers, but you and I have talked about this a little bit, and I've done videos about it. Dragon Ball Daima is going to introduce a lot of new characters. The Demon Realm has a lot of new characters, and there's going to be a lot of people fighting, like a lot of fights, like more than I was even expecting. If you go to my video I did that was super controversial to some, the leaks video, and actually if you go to my trailer breakdown, there's a lot of characters in that Demon Realm, yo. So legit, Daima DLC could actually add like 40 new characters. We got mini Vegeta, mini Goku, mini Piccolo. We've got the Glorio.
I mean, isn't it already confirmed that there's like 20 plus characters? That's what they said, right? For DLC.
For which one? For all of them, or just
for Sparking Zero? For Sparking Zero. Now, of course, there's more than that, but I remember in the promotional materials there was it said 20 plus characters, and it had Gamma 1 and 2, which I assume is going.
I think that's only for Superhero, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Well,
because Daima
I don't know exactly either. I know it said 20 plus characters. I don't know if that meant all of the DLC, for the entire game, or if it meant just for Superhero. I don't know, but that's what it said.
Yeah, he said, okay, so Addicted Fox says 3 DLC packs, 20 characters, including Daima and Superhero. Yeah, but there's going to be a lot of characters in Daima, so that means they're not all going to be playable, which I don't have a problem with that. There's going to be a lot, Let me real quick, people keep asking about Daima in the chat. Okay, listen, Daima is going to premiere this Friday on Fuji TV at 10:30 in the morning Eastern. Okay, listen to me. It'll be on Crunchyroll about an hour or so later, an hour and a half later, subtitled, right? The dub will premiere next month in November in movie theaters first, and then on Crunchyroll dubbed. 1 week after the sub premieres this Friday on Crunchyroll, it'll be on Netflix. If you are not in the United States, if you're in France, Italy, South America, make sure you check your listings, because some parts of Daima, like some parts of the world, are going to be on Amazon Prime. So it just depends on where you live. But for those of us here in the U.S., Fuji TV early in the morning, and then about an hour and a half later on Crunchyroll. So and then Netflix the week after. So that's it. I've already said it. Hopefully you know now what's going on. So let me get to these super chats before we move on to Daima Talk. So Xavier said Juan is back. He's an old school fan, bro. I think he's actually one of Mike's mods. So he is. And then he also said Raging Blast 2 is one of the greatest Dragon Ball games. I've never played Raging Blast 2 or 1, bro. Those games came out when I was in this other stuff. Did you?
I unfortunately never played them either. I played Ultimate Tenkaichi, which definitely was not an impressive game, or at least I wasn't very impressed by it. So I kind of skipped over the ones I should have been playing, and I went to Ultimate Tenkaichi. So,
yes. True Draco says, send me bath water, daddy. There's going to be a lot of water here in a couple days, bro, but I don't know about bath water. So if you guys are wanting me to play Sparking Zero, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. There is a Category 5 hurricane headed right for my house. I was going to play Sparking Zero on stream all week with you guys. Now I can't. I have to go somewhere else. I'm sorry. I'm not God. I can't fucking do it. I might play a little bit tonight or tomorrow. I might test the game out. There's a Category 5 storm coming directly from my area. So unfortunately, I can't play the game as fast as you want me to. It is what it is. Robert Wolf said Gamma is legit the stupidest villain in the series. Or Goma. Goma's stupidest. Well, the joke's on you, Robert. He's not the villain. If you watch more of my videos, you would know that. He's not the villain. So, but that's okay, bro. It's no big deal. I'm not going to go into spoilers, but I do want to talk to you about Daima. I want to talk to you guys. I've been saving this for this stream. I want to talk about what Akio said last night. I want to talk about that. Thank you so much, Robert. He says, stay safe, keep them in my prayers. Thank you. Pray for the whole state, bro, because there's people that are near the water that are fucked. I want to show you, actually. Let me show you guys something. I want to talk about what Akio said last night because we have to talk about this, man. Let me real quick share the screen. You'll still be on with me, bro. It's just going to show it's just going to show this right here. Okay, so check it out. Hopefully you guys can see this, right? So last night, no, 2 nights ago. I'm sorry. 2 nights ago, there was why would you not make a video on where to watch that? Because, man, I've already talked about it on numerous streams and community posts. What do you want me to tell you? Hold on. Let me get to the super chat. Son Ghidorah says, the one thing I liked about Ultimate Tenkaichi is the custom character mode. That's where the name Son Ghidorah comes from. I actually like the name Son Ghidorah because it sounds like King Ghidorah. Yeah. So let's talk about this right here. We got to discuss this. I want to get your thoughts on this one. So Akio Ioku, who is still involved in Dragon Ball, which means that he's working through the Shueisha drama, he says there is no manga source material for this one. There will be many surprises. We've got a lot of thought put into it. So I hope you'll watch it and enjoy. You can expect everything you're looking forward to being included. Now, everything you're looking forward to being included sounds like him just hyping shit up because every fan has a different opinion of what we want. However, this is important. There's no manga source material. I know a lot of people were asking, Geekdom, is there going to be a Daima manga? There will not be a Daima manga like with Super. It's just going to be an anime. So what do you think about this, bro, about there not being a Daima manga? I am fine with it. What do you think?
Well, it's not the first time that's happened, and I mean, that's obvious. I think that Toyotaro clearly, he has his hands full with Dragon Ball Super manga, and also, doesn't that really, is that Shueisha's domain? And if anybody knows, Shueisha and Akio Ioku kind of don't have the same idea of what, where Dragon Ball should go all the time. So, I mean, this is not surprising, especially if you know the background and, the business side of what's going on right now. I mean, that doesn't mean there can't maybe be a Daima manga in the future. I mean, that might be possible.
Yeah,
that might be down the line. But clearly, this is an original show, material here. Just like Battle of Gods when it came out, right? There wasn't, any manga when that came out, right? So,
I don't know how many of you guys saw my video I did a week ago about the next Dragon Ball Super movie. See, I'm just going to be real with you guys. A lot of your questions that you have are answered in my videos already. You have to watch the content to stay up to date. What I said in that video was that Dragon Ball Daima is too long to be a movie, but too short to be a full-out anime. Dragon Ball Daima is not going to be 150 episodes. You're not getting that, dude. Dragon Ball Daima is supposed to be about 7 months long, which means it'll run from October to around April. So, and I'm telling you that because I know. Now, could the information be wrong? Of course it could. Not everything I report is 100%, but this, I feel strongly that's not going to be a very long show. Now, the reaction from the fans is the one that I'm really excited about. So 2 nights ago, a bunch of Japanese fans took to Twitter and discussed the Daima, and a lot of it discussed what the like the first impression. So for example, right here, the drawings are the best I've ever seen, and the story and dialogue are in Toriyama style. The artwork also reproduces the comical feel of Toriyama's manga in places. The battle scenes really powerful and amazing, crazy from the beginning. Juan, you know the first thing I thought of, bro, is Dragon Ball Daima had a 2-year head start. I'm so mad, bro. Why couldn't Dragon Ball Super have had the quality of art that this show is going to have? This show is bringing back Nakatsuru, who did tremendous work on Dragon Ball Z and GT. This show has a 2-year buildup, and the animation looks so beautiful. Why couldn't Super, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck.
I don't want to relitigate, you know, all the ways that I think Toei has mishandled Dragon Ball, but I mean, to me, this just falls in that category. People have been, I mean, even some people complain a little bit about how the direction of Resurrection F was handled, and so obviously with Super, there were a lot of production problems with that, and you know, when you think about it, it's like, oh, why is Toei doing this? We know for a fact, because when we look at how Toei treats other series, we know they can do better. We know that. So, it can be frustrating for Dragon Ball like fans, because it just doesn't have to be that way. It was just poorly planned out from the beginning. But we're glad. We're glad that at least now with Daima, we're getting something that is, you know, gets the time it needs. It does not have to be rushed, and it's going to look really good.
Yeah. And also, I don't know where y'all are getting this from. I never said Daima was 24 episodes. Please do not spread misinformation. Nobody said that Daima was 24 episodes. I said it's going to be 7 or 8 months. I never said it's going to be 24 episodes. And that information could also be incorrect, because it could be that only that many episodes have been made. So please do not spread that out. I'm telling you that Daima will not be as long as Dragon Ball Super. That's what I'm telling you. Now, I want to talk about this because I'm just going to say this. I know a lot about episode 1 of Daima. I don't know everything, so I didn't do a full-out video, but I know a lot. And one of the things that I know is that the first episode features a reanimation of the Buu Saga, because they have scenes from the Buu Saga redone by Kubota. So it looks like how the beginning of Superhero looked. And let me tell you, the reception from people about this beautiful reanimation of Dragon Ball Z's Buu Saga, Juan, people are saying it actually might look better, and it's more accurate to the manga. So a lot of the scenes that we saw in like a lot of the anime only scenes are not going to be in Daima, just like manga, sort of like readapting the manga. So Majin Buu's tongue is actually the right color, Supreme Kai is the right color. What do you think about this, bro? Because you and I have talked about how nice the Buu Saga looks, but this is supposed to be as good, if not better.
Well, the thing is that, like, in the anime industry right now, there's a lot of, let's just say, the fidelity of how anime looks is getting better and better, especially in shonen anime. So like things like Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen, these things go viral for their, you know, animation, how it looks. And even One Piece is another one, and that's another Toei production. And so Dragon Ball has really lacked that. I mean, yeah, we had some good moments in Super, but Super, let's face it, it really didn't fit up to snuff with what other things are doing. So what
even Toriyama complained about it, right?
Yeah. What I'm thinking here is that Toei Animation is like, all right, we see what everyone else is doing. We even have done stuff with One Piece, which is like, you know, that's, I mean, everyone's seen it, right? You know, Dragon Ball really hasn't had that put into it. Like the closest thing was the Broly movie, but that's a movie, not a show. So of course, you know, you could, you know, do stuff there, but that's what I'm thinking. Toei wants to use this series to be like, we're finally doing this. We're going to give Dragon Ball that treatment. We're going to give it that treatment that
finally,
like a lot. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, better late than never. So, it'll finally get that treatment of things that are the trends that are going on right now with the anime industry, with especially shonen stuff, with receiving like Demon Slayer basically was built on the back of or part of it was built on the back of how it looked, right? About how certain scenes looked and about how its animation looked. And you could always say Dragon Ball didn't need that, and of course it didn't need that. Dragon Ball Super, in fact, I think part of the reasons why I think Dragon Ball Super was handled so poorly, and why sometimes Dragon Ball as a franchise is handled poorly, because it's Dragon Ball, right? It's gonna.
They almost think it's gonna sell no matter what,
exactly.
And they're not wrong, really, when you think about it.
Unfortunately, they're not wrong.
Fortunately, it depends on how you look at it.
Fortunately and unfortunately,
well, we deserve better.
Yeah, unfortunately, because it continues to guarantee us getting more Dragon Ball, but unfortunately, it could lead to Toei Animation and other actors not treating Dragon Ball in the best way, because now they kind of view it like, well, it's going to succeed anyway. With Daima, clearly that's not what this is. Clearly, they have, they're putting like the One Piece treatment on this. It seems they're putting their A game on this one, and it also helps the fact that Daima isn't a week-to-week series. So,
it is a week-to-week series.
Well, no, not with. Well, what I'm saying, it's not a seasonal series. Like with Dragon Ball Super, there really isn't a season.
It's one straight thing through. Yeah,
it's more like an old school anime where
Daima is too. It's just not as long.
Well, yeah, it just starts and then it continues on indefinitely
until it ends.
Right?
Yeah.
Daima. Right. Now, like you said, we don't know exactly when this is going to end. We don't know if it'll continue on. However, because there's been such a long time for production for this series, it is more like a seasonal show, at least in the beginning. At least those first episodes are going to be more like a seasonal show, which of course give it time and preparation for it to look much better than, like, for instance,
look at My Hero. My Hero looks great, and they have a seasonal,
Well, that's honestly how all shows, like, anime is moving away from like the way it was done in the old days, where they make a show and it just runs forever until it ends, right? Like, if you haven't noticed, like, that's not how really anime productions are done now. Now with Dragon Ball, because it is older, Toei Animation might view it differently. Obviously, One Piece is still done that way, but less and less shows are done in this fashion nowadays.
I want to comment on something real quick. First of all, I'm going to take your super chats in a minute, guys. Just bear with us. There's a lot to talk about today, but I'm happy to be here on the Super Magic Show. First of all, and I'm happy you guys are here. First of all, Robert Wolf, man, I love you, and I appreciate the prayers. You got to be a little bit more optimistic, man. I know that you don't like the concept of Daima, and let me be honest with you. If I were running Dragon Ball, I would not have done this either. Maybe for like a movie or something, but I wouldn't have done it, right? But this is the first anime.
I agree.
We both talked about it, but I want to tell you all this. This is the first anime in the history of Dragon Ball where Toriyama has not only written the manuscript, he has looked over all of the individual scripts for the episodes. This is the first time, not Dragon Ball, not Z, not GT, not Super, not Kai, none of it. Toriyama submitted a manuscript. The writers at Toei took that and turned it into a show, like splitting it up into episodes, and then sent it to him via email to oversee it. So listen, if you're here, you're a hardcore Dragon Ball fan, just give it a try, dude. Like, just give it a try. I want to tell you this about episode 1. I'm not going to go into spoilers, but I want to tell you this about episode 1. Daima episode 1 is going to have a lot of talking. There's going to be a lot of exposition early on, because the episode will begin with the Buu Saga recap, and then we're going to have Degesu and Goma talking. And that's how a lot of the episode's going to go. And Dr. Arinsu is there too, okay? I'm not going to go into spoilers, but that's how it's going to start. Then we're going to go to Earth. And the episode will end with a cliffhanger, but you're going to know from episode 1, you're going to know where the characters are going to go, and you're going to know where the story's going to go. But the thing is, it's going to look beautiful, and the fights are going to be as good as any Dragon Ball show. I want to comment on this real quick, bro. So this person saw the first episode. I have another friend of mine that saw it too. Right. I watched the first episode of Diamond. As you can tell from the preview, if you're a fan of the Boo Saga, you'll be excited from start to finish. The Boo Saga was even more amazingly drawn than the amazing drawings in the digest of the original and Cell Saga at the beginning of Superhero. He's saying that it looks better than the original Z. It also felt like that character from the original returned and spoke for the first time in a long time. That was so awesome. Now, I'm not sure who that character is, but I want to go into the other thing that Akio said, which actually might be, hold on, let me get it. Here we go. This is the most important thing. This is the most important thing, right? I talked about this 1 week ago here on the YouTube channel. Hold on, I'm distracted by something in the chat. I'm going to get to it in a minute. Executive producer Akio Yoko showed his enthusiasm for the future of Dragon Ball franchise. We're still coming up with various plans, brainstorming many things, and we'll keep moving forward. I want to continue giving it my all alongside Nozawa. There will be more Dragon Ball coming. There will be more Dragon Ball coming. You guys have to understand, Daima's not the end. There will be more, but we got to watch Daima. Now, I'm popping right now because in my chat, Just My Opinion Reviews is there. I don't know if you know this, Just My Opinion, but I watch your shit, bro. He's a movie reviewer, and I like it because he opens up this kind of a genius idea. In his videos, he'll review the movie, and then he'll either start it or end it by saying, that's just my opinion. And it's like, he understands that, like, on the internet, you have to say that or somebody will get mad. And I'm a fan of your work, dude. Thank you for stopping by. I had no idea you knew who I was. I greatly appreciate you being here. He's in the chat, and that shocked me, bro. So, Juan, what do you think about Dragon Ball moving forward? We've got the Super movie that I talked about. We've got more after that. What do you think is going to happen, and where do you think it's going to go? Where do you want it to go?
Well, where I want it to go, I guess that's a different issue. But, I mean, Dragon Ball has been obviously, unfortunately, with the passing of Toriyama, a lot of people might have questioned about whether or not people are going to continue and stuff. And obviously, Daima was already in the works. However, it doesn't really surprise me that things are like Daima's not going to be the end. I mean, Dragon Ball is an enormous franchise. It's one of the biggest. In fact, it's not only one of the biggest anime. It's one of the biggest media franchises in the world. All right, that's how big it is. So,
and it might actually be getting bigger. Because Sparking, have you seen the numbers for Sparking Zero?
Yeah,
I've seen break records.
It's breaking. Yeah, it's might become maybe the best-selling Dragon Ball game.
No, it will become the best.
Yeah. Game. So the point is that this series is kind of it's just way too big. Like with all the recent new stuff since like the Renaissance and Battle of God Super, these new movies, and now Daima, there just seems to be way too big. And not only that. Ioku, one of the leaders in the creation of Dragon Ball, he clearly is motivated to make new stuff. In fact, that's part of the reason why he was so butting heads with Shueisha, because he wants to make new content. So clearly he's motivated to make new stuff, right? So obviously, as long as like we have guys like Ioku, as long as Dragon Ball continues to be this big, which I mean, I don't see it becoming smaller, of course we're going to have new stuff. And of course, there's going to be new movies, like you were saying, and there's already material. Okay, people have been. People were already disappointed that maybe Moro and Granola weren't going to get, Well,
they might be eventually, just not happening now.
That doesn't mean that that's not going to happen in the future, right? I mean, they already have like material lined up. It's ready to go, basically, right? To do the adaptation, it just needs to be greenlit, basically. So yeah, of course, there's stuff to still be done, but
do you think Toyotaro is the guy? Because like I'm skeptical about that.
That is a more speculation.
Yeah. Well, who's gonna be the guy? It's not gonna be Sasuke. Who is the guy to take over this thing besides the Kyo?
Well, the people in the running for that position, like who's going to replace Toriyama, it's going to either be probably, I mean, the most likely, right? Maybe it's some other third person we don't know about yet, but in the running, it's Iyoku and Toyotaro, and I'm thinking that it'll like. It probably will be Toyotaro. I mean, he's the most likely option. Like
for the manga, for sure.
If you want to talk, I mean, regardless of what you think about the guy, right? He is the guy who was working closely to Toriyama. He's one of the most close people to Toriyama, and Toriyama is not somebody, as we all know, who associated with many people. He kept his circle very close. So if you got into that circle, you know, you already were a part of an exclusive few, and Toyotaro was one of those people because he was working, you know, with Toriyama on the Super manga. So if you could say he's the closest thing to being like Toriyama's basically his successor. Okay, like he's the closest thing.
And I also want to make this clear. I've talked about this before. He was not handpicked by Toriyama. Shueisha picked him, and then he worked alongside Toriyama, and then they developed a friendship. But it wasn't like Toriyama picked him. However, they did develop a friendship, and Toriyama did mentor him. That we certainly know for a fact.
Yeah, considering the fact that he mentored him and that he worked for him for years, right, on the Super manga. And not only that, people don't understand that Toyotaro has already influenced more than just the manga.
Right. He drew some of the gods into Tournament of Power. Yes.
Yeah, he influenced the anime, and he influenced some of the decisions that were made in the anime. So, you know, you can't, like, he is probably going to be a creative force. However, maybe it won't be like there's a singular creative force. Like we all know that what was it, Toei or Shueisha that had the Dragon Room?
Shueisha.
Yeah,
Shueisha.
They have. So maybe it's not a singular creative force. Maybe it's more of a collective, like, you know, the Dragon Room, and they're the ones who are going to be the credited force behind where Dragon Ball goes as a franchise. So, you know, you could always say that maybe there you go. Maybe it's going to be more of a collective effort instead of just one man like Toyotaro or Yoku.
Yoku should be the guy, though, that says, I think he should be the guy to say yes or no to all final projects. You know what's funny, bro? A certain group of people were trashing him about a year ago, actually. And it pissed me off because if it wasn't for Yoku, we wouldn't have had the Goku Black arc. We wouldn't have had the Broly movie or Superhero. Like Iyoku is Gohan is the main superhero. Like, dude, Iyoku actually wants to give the fans what they want. How could you not like this guy? If it wasn't for him, there would be no Daima. There'd be nothing. It'd be done.
Yeah,
like he's super important to the world now.
No,
and you know he actually worked on Dragon Quest too.
Iyoku has shaped the new world of Dragon Ball. Like without him, he like it would. Like you said, it might not even exist because you've heard the stories about how these things are made. It's usually someone coming to Toriyama, usually a Yoku. He comes to Toriyama and he's like,
we need something.
Yeah, we need something. We have this idea. Hey, could you bring, you know, Broly back or something like that? And yes, even though it's Toriyama doing the story and writing it and, you know, and developing the idea, the spark of the idea is Iyoku. Like he's the one who is kind of maybe taking the bigger picture. Like he
wants more anime, more games, more manga.
Yeah, he understands that like Future Trunks is a very popular character so he's like, you know, why don't we bring him back? Which is, by the way, what happened in DragonAll Super.
It's corporate, but it works.
Gohan, and you know what? I'll say this. I'm a Gohan fan, and I don't think Toriyama has the most plans for him. Let's just say that. But at least Iyoku, is aware of Gohan, right? Because that's the whole reason he's even in the superhero movie, is because of Ioku's input. Like, he told him, like, hey, we need to have Gohan in this movie. And yeah, so like, I think obviously, yeah, I would want Ioku to be, in fact, I would say that I would want Ioku to be the dominant force over Toyotaro, honestly.
Me too.
If there was one man, I would definitely want it to be Ioku. That doesn't mean he's perfect. That doesn't mean that, I think we mentioned, if it was up to us, Daima wouldn't look exactly the way it would right now. But
if it was up to us, I wouldn't have done Daima. I would have just brought back more. I would have brought back Super as a seasonal anime, but I don't make the decisions, bro. I think most of the fans would have preferred that. But I mean, I'm with you guys. But Juan, like I said, I would rather have Daima than nothing, because at least Daima's got so much of Toriyama's fingerprints on it, and they're putting tender love and care into it. I think people that are skeptical about thank you, just my opinion, bro. That means a lot to me. It really does. But dude, I think people that are skeptical, I get the skepticism. We don't want to see kids again. I get it. But there's so much work being put into it that it's like, but the one thing we don't know is the composer, which we'll talk about that more later. Yeah. Juan, I got to get some of these super chats, bro. There's a lot. We're behind. Okay, I apologize, guys, but we have a lot to talk about today. This is the first episode, too. I will try to get Stephanie Nadolny on a future episode. I'm working on that. I'm working on getting some special guests on. Derek Padula, World King Kanji. Kanji Loves Coffee is going to be on an episode. Lance will be on an episode. Mystere Fusion. So we're going to have a lot of different... And some of you guys will be able to call in and talk to us. I would love to talk to you guys, like, face-to-face. Xavier says, been watching you guys before the face cams in 2015. Juan has been doing face cam videos since like 2012, though.
Yeah, I think the first time I ever revealed my face on YouTube,
2011 or something like that.
No, it was like 2010. So
was that the one where your brother came into the room when you were recording?
No, even before then. This was like ancient times.
Because you look like the kid from Transformers 7. Because when I saw that movie, I said this kid looks exactly like you, because you didn't have the beard. By the way, what happened to your beard?
I just thought I don't know. It was too much of a hassle to keep.
No, you got to grow it back, bro. You got to grow it back. Sun Ghidorah says, the one thing I liked about Ultimate Tenkaichi, the custom character mode. That's where I already read this. I'm stupid. I already read that. So Gaming Hub UK says October is the month for Dragon Ball. I'm happy. Me too. Of course. Yeah. Finally, new stuff. Razin Kamehameha says, Geekdom, been a fan for a while. Thank you. Stay safe during that hurricane, brother. Quick question. With Daima releasing on Netflix, will it only be in sub? From what I understand, it's going to be in sub the week after it's on Crunchyroll. So you'll get episode 1 next week, and it'll be sub first. And then when the dub comes out in a month, there will be an option for the dub. I don't know that for certain. I don't work at Netflix. I don't have any sources at Netflix, but Netflix always offers dub and sub options for most of their stuff. So you're probably going to get it. That's a safe bet. Scott Thomas said GT only has about 60 episodes. GT 2.0 confirmed. I didn't say Daima was 60 episodes, bro. I didn't say that. Wisco Dipper says, hey, Danny, how can I look as handsome as you? I don't think you can. AB says, will the final Daima villain will absorb and power up with 7 demon Dragon Balls, including 3 in chests of silhouette characters like GT, Sinjera? Okay, I don't know. All right, I'm being genuine. I don't know. Daima is going to be borrowing things from GT.
Yeah.
I have seen things that I have not reported on yet that are going to, let's just say people are going to be talking about it. I have seen things they're going to do in Daima that I have not reported yet because it's a huge fucking spoiler, and it's coming out. I even know the month. February. This February, get ready for some crazy fucking shit to go down in Daima. And that's all I'm going to say. And you know I don't bullshit you about that, because all of my videos about Daima have been 100% accurate. I don't want to hear that Super 2019 bullshit that these losers have been saying for years, bro. You cannot doubt my credibility now. My credibility is so high now that people are telling me to stop leaking. These motherfuckers, Juan, they were calling me a fraud, and now that my shit's actually coming true, no, please stop leaking. Yeah, fuck you. Pick a hand, bro. Leak or I'm a fraud. Pick a hand. So AB says that I don't think it's going to copy the Shadow Dragons. I don't think it will. Robert Wolf said, is it safe to say Demon Magic wouldn't work on Beerus and Whis? I'm sorry again. I really just wish they weren't kids again. I just really hate that. I understand, bro. You don't have to apologize. I'm just saying give it a chance because the fights are going to be dope. And the story is. So that's the most important thing. As far as Demon Magic not working on Beerus and Whis, I don't know about Beerus, but let's be honest. Nothing works on Whis, bro. Like, have we ever seen Whis sell anything?
No.
Like when Goku bit him, maybe that was it, right? Like, oh, my hand.
I mean, he sold maybe when he stepped in poo. That's about it. That's about it.
Even when Goku did Ultra Instinct, all the gods of destruction were like in shock, and Whis is like just. I think that's Migate no Gokui. Like, he just, nothing impresses that guy. So
yeah,
I would say Whis is good. Okay, here's just my opinions, super chat. Thank you again. I can't wait for Daima. I can't believe this guy knows who I am, bro. Like, I've been watching this dude for like 4 months or so. Maybe longer than that. I think I found him in like February. I don't remember. I can't wait for Daima. Dragon Ball Evolution started me doing reviews because it was so bad. Looking forward to all your coverage. Juan, I got to tell you this, bro. I'm glad he said this. And thank you, just my opinion. A mutual friend of ours, who I'm not going to reveal because he's going to get harassed, told me last night, listen to this, bro. And guys in the chat, you're not going to believe this. And I'm not going to say who it is. I'll tell you off air. A mutual friend of ours told me that he likes Evolution more than Resurrection F. That's wild, isn't it?
I think I might know who you're talking about.
I think you do know who I'm talking about. Well, I don't want to say who it is because I don't want him to get attacked.
Yeah.
Dude, he said that. Now, look, Resurrection F had problems, but, dude, Evolution, like...
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It was one of the most miserable theater experiences I ever had.
I mean, I knew what it was going to be before it came out.
So. No, listen, going into that movie, I knew it was going to suck because I was following everything at the time. I was following the trailers and the discourse. Yep. So when
Goku being in high school already, like, yep, it's fucked.
And I was thinking, you know what? I have to see this movie. I know it's going to suck. I hope maybe by some miracle it doesn't. But come on, like. It sucked. It was terrible.
Bahamut says Toriyama, Nyoku, Toyotaro to DB are like Chester and Shinoda for LP. I guess Linkin Park. Yeah, because Chester and Mike are from Linkin Park. If one dies, the other carries the torch. Fans just need to keep an open mind. Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping for the best. As a Dragon Ball fan, I'm hoping for the best. Sack Chief says, damn, you got my boy on there with you. I can't wait for Daima's theater release. First of all, I've known this guy longer than you have, bro. I've known him since he was 21? Maybe 20. It's been almost 10 years, bro.
Yeah, honestly, it has.
It has. And he slept at my house, bro, which multiple times, actually, 3 times. He also destroyed me in Connect 4, bro. I don't know if y'all know this about Juan, but he's strangely really good at Connect 4.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I could still be beaten. Like, I mean, it.
Remember when
I don't think I'm as good as I used to be. I mean, it's not even a complicated game anyway. It's like pretty easy to once you understand how to play it.
Well, you beat me in chess a couple times too, bro.
Yeah,
you're just never gonna beat me in Dr. Mario because nobody can. That's a different level, bro. It's a different level. But and then the last super chat here, Scott Thomas said, you said likely less than 100 episodes. Oh yeah, likely less than 100 episodes. Yes, likely. But we don't know. We don't know yet. So with Daima, the first episode, like I said, has an extra 10 minutes, and it's going to go into like recapping the Buu saga and discussing. I already talked about it in July. It's a battle for the throne of the Demon King, but not every villain is aligned, and there's going to be betrayals. Don't want to spoil it, but it's going to be interesting because throughout Dragon Ball, we've seen some villains betray each other, but like Majin Buu killed Babidi, you know, and stuff like that. And of course, 17 killed Dr. Garo, 20. But this is more like cunning type of shit, and I kind of like that. What do you think about that whole idea?
No, I like that. I like the idea of villains having different factions. It almost brings me back to because it provides many
like Dragon Quest
story opportunities. Like it kind of reminds me of like when on Namek. I mean, Vegeta at that point wasn't exactly part of the good guys, but he had to team up with Gohan and Krillin out of necessity because you know the Ginyu Force was coming and Frieza was so powerful. So maybe and that was an interesting dynamic. That was some of them. You know,
I love it.
Interesting stuff.
I loved how it was Gohan and Krillin, and then Vegeta on his own, and then Frieza, and you had them all trading the Dragon Balls.
Exactly. And you know that makes for an interesting plot, and it makes for intrigue, and it just has more potential to like go in different directions than just having like you know one faction that's good and the other faction that's evil, and you know I mean that can work too, but you know, hey. We've done that a couple times now, so you know maybe changing it up around where there's different villain factions that, and then maybe they can go against each other, and maybe some of them might even team up with the heroes for whatever reason because it out of necessity or what you know anything.
Really. Well, one of the cool things about Daima, and this is I don't know if this counts as a spoiler or not, but I've talked about this on Twitter. When they go to the Demon Realm, they're going to split up. There's going to be two different parties. It's Goku, Supreme Kai, and Glorio and Pansy, and then Vegeta, Piccolo. I don't want to spoil it. Vegeta, Piccolo, and two other people. So they're going to split, and that is cool because we're going to have episodes where we're following one group, then the other. See, that's why I'm excited. It's not. The little kid shit aside, right? I get it. I understand that you don't have to tell. I get it. But they're doing new shit. Like, we haven't really seen a situation where it's like fucking Final Fantasy VI, where you've got one party over here, collecting the Dragon Balls and like discovering new like villages and they're gonna be it's like a JRPG, bro. Like they're gonna be in the demon realm, finding all these places, dealing with these like good and bad people. I think that's cool. Like I don't know why people are so close-minded about this. It's new, you know?
Yeah, like I'm not even someone who was really hyped up for like the whole kid thing. I really wasn't.
Me neither. But it was a weird bro. When I first I'll tell you a story. When I first heard last August is when I was first told about them being kids again. I called up Lance and I said, "You're not going to believe what they're doing." And Lance goes, I think Lance was so in shock. Lance was like, "Are they actually going to do that?" And I'm like, and then when I told Quinn goes, "Danny, I know 100% you're right about this." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because it sounds like something they would do." Like, there's no way that, like, when you hear from like an insider, like when you hear, because remember, I'm not an insider according to some losers out there. Yeah, eat dick. When you hear from a source, I'm just going to put it to you like this. When a source tells you Dragon Ball Magic is going to have Goku becoming a kid again and going to the demon realm, I'm like, what? Like, are they really doing this? And then I thought, okay, anniversary of Dragon Ball, Kid Goku's the icon. I get it. But it's like, whoa, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, crazy.
Well, I mean, look, I was one of those people that wasn't exactly, you know, when Broly was announced, everyone lost their minds. It was like amazing. I wasn't one of those people.
A lot of people thought it was a bad idea.
Well, I didn't think it was a bad idea, but it's definitely not what I would have wanted. Even from that, now I love that movie. I still like that movie.
Me too.
You know, I think it's become one of my favorite movies in Dragon Ball. I think a lot of people ignore some of the flaws in that movie, but regardless, it was great. It was
great in the theater too.
Yeah, I saw it multiple times in theater.
However, three times.
When it was announced it was going to be a Broly movie, I wasn't exactly, like over the moon for it, because I was more of the kind of guy who's like, well, I kind of want something new. I don't want to retread old stuff. And if we're going to redo anything, me, I'm a fanboy for Wrath of the Dragon. So if we're going to redo anything,
that's a great film.
Because I think that has more potential to be fleshed out than Broly. I still believe that.
Well, with the lore of like the flu and like the kaiju, like all that shit was bad.
Yeah,
that's Koyama's
and Tapion's planet.
Yes, in the South Galaxy.
And all that I think has more potential. Regardless, even when I had not, some little bit of skepticism, I still put it aside and I thought, you know what? I still think this will be cool, and it did. It turned out to be cool. It turned out to be a great movie, and I still enjoyed it. With Daima, I kind of feel like that's kind of the same thing. It's like, hey, man, sometimes you just don't get exactly what you want. But that doesn't mean it's gonna, suck or something.
I mean, bro, when Superhero was announced as doing like the 3D, 2D, a lot of people were worried about it. Yeah, and then when the movie came out, it was like, this is not that bad. There was some shit that wasn't, but dude, that Gohan Beast moment, people went nuts over.
Look, I enjoyed the superhero movie, but I am not somebody who's a fan. Like, look, there's nothing wrong with 3D animation, but
I prefer Daima
I'm gonna be
frank.
I'm gonna be absolutely frank. I want Dragon Ball to be in 2D. Like,
we talked about this, you and I.
Up,
we had a conversation about this.
Straight up, like, yeah, superhero was fine. I'm not saying it was bad because of that, but like, I'm not gonna mince my words. Yeah, I want 2D Dragon Ball, and I'm glad we're getting it here with Daima. So
I like the Broly and Daima look because it just looks so like that fourth trailer. But what did you think? Well, actually, wait. Let me get to these super chats. People are waiting. I don't want to disappoint them. Anderson Blitz says NYC24. New York Comic Con 2024 will do a DB Daima panel and air the first episode, which is how we'll see the show, and I'll be cosplaying as Granola again. Yeah, remember he had that awesome Granola cosplay last year, and everyone went nuts over it, dude. I remember I was streaming live. I was like, I didn't know it was Anderson. I was like, bro, that motherfucking Granola like killed everybody, dude. Like, that's like, you should be very proud of yourself. Do you remember that guy at all? I know it was a while ago. I don't remember if you saw it. Dude,
bro, you know what?
His Granola was on point.
Granola, he was called a super sniper, but he never like sniped someone across the universe. That's what I wanted him to do.
What if what
I wanted him to do was like look at like out into space and shoot a blast from his planet all across like the galaxy to kill someone else on another planet.
I've got an idea.
That's what I wanted him to do. It never happened though.
Hold on, I got an idea, and I want the guys in the chat to help me with this. I need you guys to @Carthus Dojo or Smugstick and say, please do what if Granola was the sniper that tried to kill Trump? Tell him to do that video, bro. Would Granola have gotten the job done? Ask him. Okay, so Anderson Blitz, yes. Episode 1 will be coming out this Friday. I'm not going to wait for New York Comic Con. If it's new Dragon Ball, I'm going to watch it right away. I can't wait, dude. Like, how long did we wait in the 90s for the next episodes? Like, I can't wait. Fuck that. The minute it drops, I'm going to watch it.
It was way worse back then, man.
We kind of have it good now,
man,
bro.
We are getting so much stuff compared to like how it was, in the 2000s or it's just like, it's on a roll, basically. Like I said, you asked earlier, am I surprised that Dragon Ball is going to continue after Daima? Not really, dude. Like, have you seen the trajectory that Dragon Ball's on? Like, stopping that train, I don't think that train's going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah.
Maybe, and this is probably not going to happen. Maybe if Daima is just an absolute catastrophe and it completely fails, and maybe but that's not.
Well, the movie's still going to come though.
Yeah, but that's not happening. That's not happening.
No, I think people are going to warm up to Daima.
Me too.
I think what'll happen, and I predicted this a year ago, there's going to be a fight scene that's going to look so beautiful, and it's going to go viral, and people are going to be like, what the fuck?
That's exactly what I think is going to happen. Even people that doubt the series right now because of the kids thing, I'm telling you right now, there are going to be moments in this series that are going to go viral. They're going to go viral because of how, oh, that fight scene was so intense or the animation was so good. And you know why I know that's going to happen? Because it's already happened with other series. Like I said, it happened with Demon Slayer, it happened with One Piece. It's happening with all of these shows. And I guarantee you, Toei Animation is aware of this,
If you
and
put
they're
the
going to
work in,
try to
man.
do it.
If you put the work in, it's going to pay
They're
dividends.
going to try to do it.
So Dragon Slayer says, when Daima comes out, do you think that it will break the internet? I mean, do you think that it'll be so popular it will overload servers? No, and I'll tell you why. Because the servers that Crunchyroll uses now are not anywhere near the infrastructure that they had back then for Goku versus Jiren. When Sony bought the company and merged it with Funimation, everything was upgraded. So there's a very slim chance it's going to crash this time. I'm not going to say definitely no, but things are better now. And then Daily Chan says, my brother said Beerus doesn't have Ultra Instinct. Well, tell your brother to read the manga because he has it there. We literally see him use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. This guy, Brian, says, is it confirmed that Akio's in charge of Dragon Ball now? I hope so. It's not confirmed. It's implied. We don't know yet for sure, but it's implied. So I was drinking water there. So we're going to get to the main event topic here in just a minute, but is there people keep asking why are we not playing Sparking? Because we're streaming, like, because I'm doing a show. Like, do you want me to stop the show and go play the game? Or do you want me to keep entertaining you? I don't understand people, bro. Why are you here? You should be playing the game. I'm trying to freaking have a show here. I don't think what's the problem? I wanted to do it yesterday, but Juan was working. I don't know. But anyways, it's just weird because I'm gonna play Sparking Zero tonight, but I want to repeat myself. There's a Category 5 hurricane headed for my city. I'm not going to play I'm not going to play Sparking Zero until, like, I'm going to play it a little bit, but I'm not going to play it a lot till next week if my house isn't destroyed. So let's hope. Pablo De Rosa says, when will be the right time for a new anime adaptation of the original manga, 50th anniversary? He's talking about like a redo of everything. I think it's going to happen someday, but I don't know when.
I don't want to, I mean, I kind of think I know, like, I don't want to go and get a little bit morbid, but I kind of think that won't happen as long as Nozawa's around.
Yeah, I think if they do it, it'll be a new voices for everybody.
Yeah, I think that's when they'll do a remake. So,
what do you think about Toru Furuya, the original voice of Yamcha, stepping down, bro? That's kind of sad, that whole story.
Well, I mean, it happens. I mean, it's happened many times, even in the English dub, right? Like, that just happens, and we've lost cast members in the Japanese dub for various reasons, and unfortunately, we're going to lose him too.
So I want to talk about the main event topic I want to discuss today is music. So Juan and I are probably going to do a series at some point, a podcast series about the music of Dragon Ball. By the way, if you're stopping by, make sure you leave a like. Right now, as of right now, we don't know who the composer is for Daima. However, I want to get your thoughts on the trailer music we've heard so far because it sounds so freaking JRPG. It's not quite like Koichi Sugiyama, but it sounds like maybe a little bit of him. What do you think about? Because if that's the music in the show, it might actually be pretty fucking good.
Well, yeah, I didn't really pay the music in the show that I kind of paid more attention to was the opening because I know that's going to be.
It sounds awesome. It sounds awesome, bro.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I honestly, I didn't pay too much attention to the other kind of music because I know that sometimes these things are not actually part of the soundtrack. They're just used for the trailer. That happened during the Broly movie where some of in some of the trailers, the music used for them were specifically for that trailer. So I don't know. I can't really comment too much on it. I hope we get, like, dude, if we get something akin to Koichi Sugiyama, I mean, look.
It's different, but I think it'll work with Dragon Ball. I really do.
I think Koichi Sugiyama is the greatest video game composer of all time. So if it's anything like that, I mean, I'm all for that. Let's just say that.
So I'm going to put a poll right now in the chat, and I think I know what the answer is going to be. So we're going to do 2 polls right now, y'all. Poll number 1 will be about English Dragon Ball music. Poll number 2 will be about Japanese Dragon Ball music. So here's the question that thank you, Swifty. I have continued to lift weights. Here's the question I'm posing for you guys. Which of these 3 composers do you like the most? The poll is up right now. We've got Sushuki Levy, Ron Wasserman, which is the original Ocean dub, Faulkner Productions, which is Morgan, Scott, and Julian. And we've also got the third, which is Mike Menza. I think I know who's going to...
I think his name is Mark Menza.
Oh, shit, you're right. It is Mark Menza. What the fuck have I... Mark Menza. I fucked up. I wrote Mike. It is Mark Menza.
Mark Menza did GT. And he also did some of the movies. I don't remember. I forgot which one.
He did like the Cooler movie and a little bit of the... Oh, there's also Nathan Johnson.
I was about to tell you also are missing Nathan Johnson.
Okay, let's do the poll over again. Sorry, guys. We're going to do it over again. My bad. I forgot about Nathan Johnson. I'm sorry. Which... I apologize. Which English composer... I already know who's going to win, bro.
I know who's going to win.
I know who's going to win too, bro. Let's keep it a buck here. Okay, hold on. Levy Wasserman. I'm writing this down, y'all. This is Ocean dub. I actually like some of their music. Faulkner Productions, which is... Bruce only did like 4 songs. It's not just Bruce. There's 3 guys. Well, 4 if you count Bud. Mark Menza, who did GT and the
he did movies. I don't remember which ones he did. I mean, unfortunately I forgot.
Nathan Johnson did Fusion Reborn and Wrath of the Dragon, right?
Nathan Johnson did those 2, but he also did he did one of the first 3. I think he might have done Dead Zone, but I know Nathan Johnson did one of the first 3 movies.
Yes.
A lot of the other movies were
the redubs.
A lot of the other movies were done by Nathan Johnson, and the Faulkner Productions music was used in some of the movies as well, like Lord Slug.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. We're gonna do a lot of interaction on the Super Magic Show. So make sure you're here every week because people keep asking about Daima. Rewind the stream, dude. We've already talked about that like 3 times. You know what? I'll tell you again before we finish here. So Faulkner Productions is winning, of course. But what surprises me, Juan, is it's not winning by that much. It's 75%. And I was surprised because Levy Wasserman's at 13, and that kind of surprises me, bro, because I always thought that Faulkner was going to win by landslide, but it's still going to win, but I'm just surprised that so many people voted for that one.
Well, a lot of people still remember like the Ocean's dub. They remember that cast. I mean, people still remember Brian Drummond and that music. You know, they still remember
Doc
that.
Harris, the late Doc Harris.
Even despite the fact that most people didn't even watch like the Wasserman stuff, like later on when like, you know, the Cell Saga and Boo Saga, that first like 54 episodes, was it? Like those episodes, I mean, for some people, they're ingrained, right? They in fact prefer that version, or at least that cast and music, to like the Funimation in-house version of that. Like, you know, they still, I mean, the most famous meme of all time from Dragon Ball comes from that version of
you mean over 9,000?
Of course, it comes from that version. So, you know, people still remember it like clearly, right?
Right. Well, Dragon Slayer, we're going to get to the Japanese composers in a minute. We're talking about just the English ones. That's all we're talking about for now. Then we'll get to the Japanese. So some people say Nagano says he didn't ever liked Faulkner, sounded generic, like stolen music. Some of it did. I've said this before. I like the Faulkner score, but I think it fits more for video games than it does for Dragon Ball. But Legacy of Goku 2, I think, did remixes, and I loved it in that game.
Legacy of Goku 2 and Boo's Fury did renditions of the Faulkner Productions soundtrack.
and I liked it. See, the thing is, the thing about the Falconer music is when it was first airing on Dragon Ball Z, I hated it because it was always playing nonstop. Dragon Slayer, once again, we're gonna get to the he's asking the same question that I just answered. We're going to get to the Japanese composers in a minute. Be patient. Those of you asking about Daima, please be patient. We have a lot to go. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get to that in just a minute, but I want to get this poll out of the way. So with Falconer, with their music, Julius, Mike, Scott, and Julius. I liked it. I liked it more when I listened to it by itself. Like when I'm editing or I'm just chatting and I have it on the background, or if I'm in the gym, I like it. So I learned to love it outside of Dragon Ball. Does that make sense?
No, I mean, it makes sense for a fan like you. Like, I mean, for a lot of fans really, they never, I mean, you hear this all the time that, you know, the Falconer Productions soundtrack, you know, it doesn't really fit Dragon Ball. It's a very different thing, especially when you're coming from the Kenkuchi sound, right? It's such a different sound than the Falconer Productions soundtrack. And yeah, I understand that completely. You could always say I had always been an advocate for the Falconer Productions.
Right. No, I know that, bro.
I always, yes, it's a very different sound from the Kenkuchi soundtrack. However, I still think that the Falconer Productions music captures, I will disagree a little bit. I think it does capture something Dragon Ball. There are certain scenes, even to this day, and I think Kenkuchi is the definitive sound.
Oh, dude, the Super Saiyan 3 Goku theme is one of the greatest themes I've ever heard in my life. Like musically, that's tippy top for me. Julius nailed that.
There's like the high stuff, but even some of the low moments, there are certain scenes to this day, and I still think Kenkuchi is the best. But to this day, a lot of those scenes still, I think about the Falconer Production sound, and it's not just because I grew up with it. It's more because I think it did capture something Dragon Ball. Like it didn't do it in the same way Kenkuchi did, and I think Kenkuchi did it in like the most pure, and like no one really beat it in terms of like that is Dragon Ball music. But I do think that Falconer Productions captured something in their own way that's Dragon Ball, and I think that's why it's resonated for so long. So
Manuel, he says, what about the soundtrack that we're using the original DBZ? Again, that's the Levy score. Now, we're not going to talk about Japanese. We're going to talk about Japanese in just a minute. Thank you, Dark Cloud Uchida. That was kind of you. And let's look at the poll real quick. So right now, Falconer Productions is winning 73%. Levy Wasserman is at 16%. That kind of surprises me. Mark Menza is at 5 and Nathan Johnson's at 5. Who do you like more between Mark and Nathan? Because Nathan's got that fucking Gogeta theme. That's a bad motherfucker, bro.
That's probably the most that's the most famous song that Johnson ever did. Was that Gogeta theme? Yep. That's the most famous one. I say, and you're not gonna Nathan Johnson scored Wrath of the Dragon. So you know who I'm going to say. Because I love that movie.
I don't think I ever heard that score, bro. I'm thinking about it like in my head.
Well, I will say this. That's Nathan Johnson's best work. His best work, in my opinion, was on that movie. Because he basically he grew as a musician or a composer. Like he kind of started off a little rough. But by the end, which was the very last thing he did, the very last thing he scored was that movie. And by that point,
now he's like a governor, right, or some shit.
Yeah, he's not even doing. Yeah,
like a senator.
Yeah.
He's a politician now.
So yeah, I prefer Johnson. I think that Johnson's score of Wrath of the Dragon was the best work he ever did. I know a lot of people will bring up the Fusion Reborn thing because of Gogeta's theme. Like, yeah, that was pretty cool.
It's killer.
And that was that was also a pretty good score, but I still think that as conveying the story and characters and just for the movie itself, I think Wrath of the Dragon was the best work he did.
Well, and they're bringing up Mark Menza's score for the BoJack film, which I don't recall. I don't recall it being that memorable. Was it good? I'm asking you because I don't recall it.
It sounds a lot like the BoJack film. kind of sounded a lot like the GT score. Like that's the best way I can describe it. Like Mark Menza's work, even in the movies, it didn't sound. There was a little bit of change, but if you heard, if you're familiar with the GT score, it kind of sounded like that. It was like very like a lot of prominent bass, right? Like there was a lot of bass in that score, especially in the GT score. If you remember,
yes, there was
electric bass guitar. So yeah, that a lot of that stuff still happens in the BoJack score as well. Kind of hip hop, little bit influence in there too as well. So yeah, like Mark Menza, he had a very distinctive sound as well, and you can even hear it when he's working on the movies.
So I'm doing right now. I'm doing favorite Japanese composer. So do you remember the name of the GT guy? Isn't it? Is it Horikoshi? What was the name of the GT composer? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember. That's the one guy I always forget.
Yeah, I always forget his name too, bro. Here it is, Tokunaga. Akihito Tokunaga. Okay, so the next poll that I want you guys to vote into, right? We're going to pick who your favorite Japanese composer is. Now, if you have not seen Dragon Ball and Z in Japanese, I would prefer that you don't vote, only because you're going to have a skewed perspective. If you've seen everything, though, here are your options, okay? This is the next one.
Hold on. Before you post those options, did you include the superhero composer?
No, because there's not enough room.
Okay, fine.
I don't have any room. And by the way, Naoki Sato did Godzilla -1, and that's like 10 levels above superhero. You know what I'm saying? You've heard that soundtrack, right? You've heard that, right?
The
Godzilla -1 soundtrack.
No, I only heard like maybe one song.
You saw the movie though, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, but I didn't go out and like usually when people ask me like, did I hear soundtracks? It's like I go and I heard it in the movie.
Okay, no, it was amazing, but I don't want to include him because he's only done one movie. So here are your options. Plus, I only have 4 options. So your options are Kikuchi, who did all of Dragon Ball, all of Dragon Ball Z, all the original movies. You got Tokunaga, who did GT. We've got Sumitomo, who did Super and the Kaibu Saga and the Broly film. And then we've got Yamamoto, who did Kai, Seiya, to Cell. Now, Yamamoto also produced the songs, like the sing songs, but we're not going to count those. We're just talking about background.
He also had a couple songs in the original Z, too.
Yamamoto?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He did Battle Power Infinity. Battle Point Unlimited. Yeah.
Also plagiarized.
Yeah, but I don't care. We talked about this. I don't give a fuck if it's plagiarized. That shit's hot.
No, I agree with you.
I don't give a fuck.
His soundtracks for Budokai, the Budokai series, is still the best music for Dragon Ball video games. I don't think it'll ever get that good. Like, go back and listen to that music. It's still the best.
Even the stuff from like the PlayStation 1 games that weren't even that good. Like Final Bout had a good fucking soundtrack.
Yeah.
And Ultimate Battle 22 did too. Like not every song, but some of them were pretty dope.
Yeah, but unfortunately, what happened? But the culmination of all of Kenji Yamamoto's work in the video games, I think it came and it peaked at Budokai. That soundtrack was so good.
How did you feel when they remastered it and took all his music out, bro? A lot of people were pissed.
Well, I mean, of course. That music was part of the identity of those games, and it was so it was such good music. Like it's so ingrained. It's kind of like how I don't follow Crazy Taxi that well, but there was some re-releases of Crazy Taxi, and they took that music out. I mean, hey, I don't know if
I didn't know that
Crazy Taxi, but
I love that game.
Anyone who plays Crazy Taxi, you guys know that soundtrack. If you ever played it. It's almost part of the game, right? So changing the music out, it kind of changes the vibe of when you're playing it, so kind of the same thing when they took the music out from the Budokai series.
Oh, dude, but it's like, I never played the remasters, but I remember when they came out, dude, like, I don't know a single person who was happy that they took the music out. Everybody was like, where's the music? Where's the music? And it's like, American Dragon Ball fans who weren't online, they didn't, you know, the ones that weren't following like the inside websites had no idea what happened. Like it wasn't like they publicly said, well, they did, but in Japan only, Yamamoto's been removed. And the other thing too is, I don't know, I'm sure you know this, but some of the early Dragon Ball Kai Blu-rays still have Yamamoto's soundtrack. They were replaced later on. So if you have a Dragon Ball Kai Blu-ray with the original Yamamoto soundtrack, that might be worth some money soon because those are completely out of print. Like you can't get those anymore, US or Japan. So if you've got Dragon Ball Kai on Blu-ray, the original soundtrack, hold on to that shit. Juan, the poll results are in. Kikuchi wins 64%. But no, this surprises me, bro. Tokunaga got 13%. I'm surprised.
That does surprise me.
I thought people hated him. I like his music, though. Yamamoto is tied with him, and then Sumitomo got 10%. I'm kind of surprised that Sumitomo was so low, considering that a lot of Dragon Ball fans, like, I guess maybe because the early Super kind of sucked. He didn't get good till the Goku Black arc, bro. That's when the Super music really
No, that's definitely was when he was hitting his stride. I mean, I still think that he did some stuff before then. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, listen, there's some people that really don't like Sumitomo's work. I'll say this. I liked his work. I always liked his work, even when it was at his weakest. I like it more than the GT soundtrack. I'll say that. so you know, that does surprise me a little bit. I didn't know that there were that many people that really like that GT soundtrack.
I agree. I actually didn't either. I mean, I like it. I like it because his soundtrack sounds almost like a dream sequence. Like it feels like the entire show is a dream sequence.
You know what it sounded like to me? It sounded like a PlayStation 1 video game.
It came out right around the time PS1 was out.
Yeah, like, I know, but it had that vibe. It had that vibe like it was from a PlayStation video game. I don't know why.
Says GT soundtrack was the best part of GT. You know, I've heard that before. That people really like, that's the best part. Okay, so Kikuchi wins, which he should because he did the most music. I mean, rest in peace. We lost him.
He did do the most music, but his music, like, it just, like we were talking about earlier about how I think Fowler Productions captured some Dragon Ball. Well, Kikuchi is like, it like perfectly does that. Like, no one else comes really close. Like, maybe some people say Yamamoto came close, but I mean, Kikuchi. Well, like
you said it's all Dragon Ball music. That's right. What you said a long time ago.
Kikuchi's just on another level of capturing like that martial arts, almost Western type kind of sometimes. Whatever Dragon Ball became, whether it became spacefaring or a martial arts adventure, it just always nailed the music, man.
And it felt like an old school kung fu film because that was the point. It's supposed to, people say, oh, it sounds old. Yes, it's supposed to sound old. Dragon Ball, like if you buy the Dragon boxes, it actually says like a legend from long ago. Like Toriyama's whole thing is like Dragon Ball takes place in this alternate past. Like it's not obviously in our world, but like an alternate futuristic past where you have dinosaurs, but you also have spaceships. And I think the music captures that in everything. So
yeah, the fantastical, the martial arts, spacefaring adventure. Yeah.
Miles Jones says, will King Kai have any involvement in Daima? I don't know if you heard, my friend, but the voice actor for King Kai passed away last year, and they're probably not going to put him in any more stuff because of that. Now, I wanted to play this clip right here for everybody before we close out, but I also want to go over the Daima thing one more time. Let me know if you can hear this. This is Doc Harris, and we're going to get to hear him now at the end of a couple of the movies. So in case you guys forgot what he sounded like, he did pass away on Saturday, but this is like a little tribute to him. Let me know if you hear this. Can you hear that?
I don't think so.
Is there a way to make it so you can hear sound? Can y'all hear that? Let me hit play.
No.
You can't?
Nope.
Okay, there might be another way. Actually, there might be another way. Give me 1 second. There actually is another way. I have to manually upload it, which it should let me do. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'll just manually upload it. Okay, here we go. All right. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna play this clip. Let me remove that. And it's uploading right now. So when I play this clip, it's gonna take me and Juan away, and you'll hear the clip. Hopefully I won't get copyright claimed. If I do, I'll be removing the clip from the replay. So it's only 52 seconds, so hopefully not. Hold on, it's processing. And then we'll talk about Daima before we get out of here. I want to close out the stream. Hold on a sec. It's still processing. Well, okay, let's talk about Daima now. So again, if you're just joining us, Daima is going to start Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern on Fuji TV, 10:40 a.m. Eastern on Fuji TV. Then it'll be on Crunchyroll about an hour or two after, and then a week later it'll be on Netflix. So again, it's going to be on Crunchyroll first, Netflix a week later. Now, please listen to what I'm telling you. It depends on where you live. If you live in certain countries, Italy, South America, there's different streaming services. You're going to have to look it up for yourself, okay? But in the U.S., it'll be Fuji TV in Japan, right? You may not have access to that. Then Crunchyroll, then Netflix the next week. So let's play the clip now.
Thanks to Goku and the others, Garlic Jr.'s dark ambitions were never realized, and the world was saved. Goku thought about telling his wife Chi-Chi that the world was saved by their son Gohan, but wasn't sure if he should reveal what actually happened just yet.
That is the great Doc Harris, bro. What a legendary voice, dude. He's still my favorite narrator. I mean, no disrespect to Dale Kelly or to any of those guys. His voice is so awesome.
No, of course, man.
Yeah. Also,
like his, you know, I don't know, like his voice is still ingrained. Like everyone still remembers the like stand by. Like when you heard that, man, you were like, oh yeah, that's my time.
With the balls fucking
with the ball.
And then it went right into Rock the Dragon, bro.
Right.
Yeah. Dude, I had that tape. I taped over it. The Arrival of Raditz. Remember, there's two versions of that tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one that has Goku on the cover doing the Kamehameha. There's one where it's Goku and Gohan. I don't have that one. That's the rare one. That one's rare. So, all right, we're going to close out the stream. Before we do, Juan, are you coming back or not, bro? Because I think people want to know if you're going to at least talk about Daima. Like, I hate to put you on the spot because I know that YouTubing is way past your...
I don't have any plans at the moment. I'll just say that.
You should do like a live stream cover, like giving your thoughts at least.
You know, I've thought about that. I mean, live streaming, like, hey, maybe.
Just say, hey, I watched Daima. This is what I think. Lance called me yesterday. Me and Lance were on the phone because we're trying to figure out a content strategy for Lance because Lance's content is usually like old stuff and like a breakdown. Yeah. But with Daima being weekly, he's going to have to change the content around because it's going to be more like a reaction than an actual like breakdown.
Yeah. Hey, man, I can't wait for Lance to finally go, review Daima, go and dissect it.
Me too. Well, you know what Lance told me is after GT, he's going to be doing the live action movies, including including the Korean one and the one from I think it's Korea and China.
Yeah,
and Evolution. And I think he said he wants to end with Battle of Gods, but I'm trying to convince him to just do Super.
No,
just get it over with.
I mean, it's up to him, but hey, I hope he just goes. I hope he goes on, man. I hope he goes on all the way. Why not, right? I mean, you've come so far.
Yes. Also, about Daima, once again, Friday is when it's going to start. This Friday, sub first. The dub will start next month. So, again, if you listen, guys, if you need to get caught up on news, don't just check the channel. Check the community tab. Sometimes I have news bits that I cannot make a full video on. So you must check the community tab to make sure you keep up to date with everything. All right. Now that Daima's up, I'm going to start uploading like crazy. But please be aware of this. Once again, There is a Category 5 hurricane headed right for my house. My Daima covers this week may be late. I'm going to try and get it out Friday. There's a chance that I don't have power. I don't have internet. I'm letting you know that now. It's fucked up. It's the worst possible week this could have happened, but it's just, I'm not God. It happened. It is what it is. So, Juan, any final thoughts, bro?
No, I mean, I think I've had my thoughts fully explicated in this whole stream. I'm glad that hey man, I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that if you will have me again.
Of course. It's always, we're going to do a lot of these. We're going to have rotating guests every week. Like I said, Nadolny already told me she would do it, but I don't know when, because she's going to be busy playing Goku. Which, before we go, final thoughts on Nadolny being Goku. I've been waiting for you to talk about it. You've been waiting for this shit 15 years.
Yeah. Well, if you want to say, yeah, look, man, Nadolny, she was always since my childhood. Like, everyone always has their favorite actor, and Nadolny was it. Okay, everyone knows Gohan was my favorite character. The voice was amazing, and that was played by Nadolny. She played Goku and Gohan, and I liked her
Goku more.
Look, yeah, of course. Like, I am very glad to see her back. Let's just say that. Very, very glad to see her back. It's something I thought would never happen.
Which, by the way, I broke that story here on the channel. If you remember on the live stream, I said that Nadolny was spotted at Crunchyroll. And it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, well, I knew too. But, look, she's been one of my favorite actors from Dragon Ball forever, basically. I was sad to see her go. But hey, I'm very glad to see that she's back. And
Dragon Ball's under new management.
I did watch the super dub, but I almost felt like I had, I just was curious. But the imperative to see the Daima dub just for Nadolny. I mean,
and it's a new
on another level. It's on another level, even for super dub. No. Like, I have to watch this. I need to see her as Goku once again.
Me too. And she's a friend. She is a friend. She's always been kind to me. We text all the time. Genuinely, she is a friend, and I was so happy. I asked her about it. So when I found out, I asked her about it, right? And she's like, well, I auditioned. And I'm thinking to myself, I know you auditioned 3 months ago. And I didn't say that to her, but I'm like, you know that clip from Arnold Schwarzenegger? Come on, don't bullshit me. But I didn't tell her that because I knew she signed an NDA, so I backed away. I'm not going to ask an actor for NDA shit, right? But when it went public, I immediately sent her a text, and I was like, the trailer's out. Congratulations, you're back. Yeah. And then she was all like, yeah. And she auditioned, right? And she did audition. But it's like the guy who's doing Daima, who I'm not going to reveal, the director at Crunchyroll, he's a mark for the old dub, and he's a mark for Dragon Ball. So I hope he doesn't change the script. But I do hope that she stays. I hope that she does all the future Kid Goku or Goku Mini video game appearances. It's Goku Mini.
Yeah.
So, all right, man, we're out of here. Take care. Have a good one, y'all. We may do another one of these on Sunday or Monday of next week, depending on the storm. Please keep an eye out for your notifications and the community tab for content. Have a good one. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time I see you. Peace. Goodbye.